when it's first light. That's the best time to be here. Because they're up and they're moving, and especially if it's cold, they're moving. And you never know what you're going to see when you go around a curve. You don't know what's going to be on the other side. That kind of adds to the mystique of the whole thing. It's a great place to be.
For thousands of years, the wetlands and marshes along the Texas Gulf Coast have provided a rich habitat for many species of plants and animals. But these habitats began to disappear in the early 1900s.
In the 1930s, America was going through a drought, and waterfowl populations were in trouble all around the country. And so in 1937, Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order which established the refuge and set it aside for waterfowl and migratory bird management.
The Aransas National Wildlife Refuge is surrounded by bay waters. Its marshes are home to a variety of plants and animals, from waterfowl to the American alligator. Moving inland, dense thickets provide shelter for white-tailed deer, javelina, coyotes, and raccoons. Although the refuge is set aside for wildlife, visitors have a place here too.
We've seen more ducks than I have ever seen in my life.
and more geese.
The Wildlife Interpretive Center houses an exhibit that features the species and habitats of the region.
Yeah. Just a little to the left and over near the other shore, you can see just two little spots.
Oh.
Can you see them?
See those two things that are in the water? Just go to the right of that little spit of land. You see them?
They're pretty. This is a beautiful place here, isn't it? Sure is.
We come down every year.
All the way from New York.
Even though they're so far away, is it still worth it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, is it because they're...
Oh, this is just lovely. Aransas is marvelous. This is real nature.
Okay. The funny part about trimming one of these trails, when you turn around and come back up the trail, it looks worse than it did when you went down almost. You have to trim it again. There were stumps down there.
How long
have we been volunteering?
It has been years.
Well, we are professional volunteers. By that, we do it any place we can, any time somebody needs our services.
The Aransas National Wildlife Refuge is the winter home to a diverse bird population. Almost 400 species have been documented here. But the most famous wintertime resident is the whooping crane.
This is the only place that a natural wild flock winters anywhere in the world. I mean, whooping cranes, there are only about 430 in North America and about 200 in this Texas wintering flock. Of course, it's still endangered. We're still in the initial stages of saving the species. We've got a long way to go.
This majestic red-headed bird is the largest in North America. Standing 5 feet tall, its black-tipped wings span 7.5 feet in flight. From late October until mid-April, the whoopers winter along 35 miles of Texas coast. Here they relax in the marshes, feeding on crabs and acorns, raising their young. They establish their own territory at the refuge and will return to exactly the same area year after year. But even after half a century of protection, the whooper is still in danger.
We just know they're not safe. We're trying to get a second and then a third flock established, and then at that point we feel we could take the bird off the endangered species list. And that is the overall goal of what we're trying to do.
And other dangers loom just over the horizon.
One of those major threats right now is the continued decrease of freshwater inflows.
What's happening is this. More and more water is being diverted from rivers upstream to be used by people, industry, and agriculture. But doing this reduces the amount of fresh water that flows all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. The result? Estuaries are robbed of the nutrients that keep marine ecosystems in balance. For the whooping crane, this break in the aquatic food chain would be devastating.
And the trend is continuing. There's no mechanism to leave adequate amounts of water in the river. And that situation has to be reversed or the whooping crane is going to go extinct.
For the first time in the history of the refuge, the whooping crane population will exceed 200 birds. But its future remains tenuous so long as the species must rely so heavily on the wintering grounds here at Aransas.
The reason that we need another flock of whooping cranes is this flock is so vulnerable. All we need is one hurricane in November that could wipe out 2/3 of the flock.
That fact keeps the biologists forever on edge, knowing that a single disaster could wipe out 50 years of hard work.
They were once only 15 whooping cranes wintering in Texas, and they were so rare, and they've made such a comeback that they really symbolize conservation in North America of what man can accomplish if man steps in and adequately protects the species and allows it to make a comeback.